Welcome to this week's special episode of the official podcast. This overpowered episode because we have TierZoo on. How is it going, Patrick? Why don't you tell everyone about yourself? Just give a little summation.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I'm the creator of the channel TierZoo. It's your number one source of tips, tricks, and insider information for the popular MMORPG outside. But seriously, I run the channel that teaches evolutionary biology and wildlife ecology through the lens of gaming. I try to frame concepts like adaptation, geologic timescales, and symbiotic relationships in a way that appeals to gamers and uses a language that they're already familiar with in order to teach them without boring people. Because sometimes biology can be kind of boring, even for people who love it like me. So yeah, that's what I do. Cool to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Yeah. Is it just a passion project, or are you a teacher as well? Not to dox you here or anything.
Oh no, I mean it really did start like that. Yeah, I was never a teacher. I taught in college. I was a TA at some point, but I never was a school teacher or anything.
Okay.
It just started. I was bored at work, and I was like, "Hey, this could be fun. I'll try it. Throw some episodes on there and see where it goes."
This seems to be a common theme. A lot of YouTubers give up on being a teacher and pursuing a career on YouTube. We just had on Monkey Jones, and he wanted to be an English teacher, and I figured, you know what, I'm unemployable anyway, so I might as well just dedicate myself to my channel.
Really? So he was a teacher then, or he was trying to be a teacher?
He wanted to be a teacher. He wanted to be an English teacher, but then he gave up on that pipe dream and decided to become a YouTube celebrity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still want to be a professor at some point. I'm hoping to apply to grad school.
Don't put this on your resume, this podcast.
Yeah, just brush this one under the rug.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Yeah.
No
I mean, in the best, or I guess in the worst case scenario where it's between you and Mumkey, you're going to land that job. Your channel's squeaky clean in comparison, so don't even worry about that.
Okay. Yeah, I do try to keep it as clean as I possibly can. So far, it's been fine.
But one day, you're going to be talking about a recent outside update, and you're just going to drop the hard fucks all over the place.
Exactly.
I feel
it's going to be over for me.
Gonna go all Papa John.
Yeah, fucking Papa John Schnatter on it.
No, I'll just have to say that I was forced, right? Isn't that what he did?
Yeah.
Obviously, he was held at gunpoint or something.
Biology forced you, yeah.
Yeah, let's hope not. No, I wasn't a teacher. I was actually a food scientist. I was working at a meat company. I don't know how careful I should be saying how specific I should be. But basically, yeah, I was designing flavors for a pretty popular product. That's what I was doing before YouTube.
Cool.
That is
Wait a
really
minute.
fucking
So
cool.
you were in charge of coming up with new flavors for a product?
Yeah, it wasn't just me, but I was part of the research and development team for this company.
That's so fucking unique. That's awesome.
Yeah, a literal flavor scientist.
Yeah. How does that process work? How do you come up with a flavor?
Oh man, I mean, a lot of it is market research. So sometimes it's not even the flavor, but rather just what you can write on the food label, oh, it's MSG free, or oh, it's low sodium, or whatever. And that's what dictates what it actually tastes like, which is really stupid. But
so do the big suits just come in and boss you around, just make the most addictive substance that we can still legally put on the label, boys? Is that how it works?
I don't think I've ever been asked to make anything addictive. I've definitely been asked to make things tasty, which fair enough. It's probably should be.
That's innocent enough, yeah. Nothing nefarious there.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Get them addicted.
Right.
So what is the mystery flavor then? If you have all the insider tips.
The mystery flavor. There's a few flavors I tried to get through the gates. I was trying to get a chicken and waffles flavored sausage out there at some point. It didn't really take off, unfortunately. But maybe someday. Hopefully my coworkers that are still there will.
Okay, so that means you have one of those suitcases with the handcuffs tied to your own hand, some high value government documents or something where you have prototype flavors in them, sausages with never before seen flavors. Oh my god,
it was great. I got to divvy them out to my friends because we couldn't sell them, the prototypes that we had to make. so I could just take them home and give them out to people.
That's the best job ever. Why would
it
you
was
give it
great.
up?
But if you couldn't sell them, is it because they taste like shit? So you were just offloading shit to your friends?
I mean, some
Or
of
was
them were
there-
definitely bad, but a lot of them were really good that I enjoyed myself too. So it wasn't a question of how bad they were.
Are there any particular ones that you remember as having been good but not being able to be sold?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's a
Okay.
shame then. They
Yeah.
weren't even memorable. But I like the image of like these mad scientists just like throwing flavors together, like Professor Utonium trying to make Powerpuff Girls the perfect little chip flavor. That
Yeah,
is so fucking cool, man.
I got to go to one of those like taste tester sessions one time, where it's like a bunch of people sitting in a room just eating and describing what they're eating in like the most esoteric terminology they can think of.
I think
God.
you just described the most fucking bougie thing I've ever heard. A little get together where people eat and describe.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that was I spent 3 days doing that. I had to drive up to Minneapolis to do that one time.
So
That's
lucky
interesting.
though, Matt. We gotta put you in touch with Notch because Notch, by his own admission, is addicted to chips, but he doesn't like any of the flavors out there. He just
Ooh,
isn't.
Really?
Yeah.
He's just not satisfied with that. What's out there? Apparently, he was once in some. What did he say? Like Thailand or something, where he had all of these esoteric flavors like squid and such, and he just couldn't stop thinking about it. You might want to be able to pitch a business idea to him where you just
Yeah, he'd probably pay a
He's-
few million to acquire you.
That's actually really fascinating because they call it like ethnic flavors or like global flavors.
Hmm.
Are really like companies really want to bring those in because they can be huge moneymakers like out of nowhere. It can be really explosive on the market. So if he's got ideas, I've never heard of a squid flavored anything, but that's really interesting.
What
Really?
what
It's big in
ethnic
Japan.
flavors?
Are you talking about like green tea Kit Kats or whatever? Like how they imported them in from Japan and they sold really well? At least they did over here.
That's
I
a
don't know if
thing?
they're...
There is
Oh, okay,
green
never
tea.
mind.
Yeah,
Kit
dude, I've
Kats.
had it. Green
Yeah.
tea Kit Kat is amazing. I've had it.
Wow.
It's really good.
I've never heard
Kit
of
Kat's
that
my
one.
favorite candy bar, and I've never even heard of green
Yeah.
tea Kit Kats. I love the dark
I
chocolate
think it's
ones
green
though.
tea.
Japan has like over 150 varieties of Kit Kat because they go nuts for them.
That's amazing.
Like,
I have to go to Japan now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what ethnic flavors have you seen that you really want and don't have the opportunity to have?
There's one that a friend was recommending to me, and I got to try it, and it was amazing. I think it was called peri peri. I think it's a South African pepper, and it was really
Sounds
good.
like a porn star.
I guess. Well,
Yeah, it does.
Like an
yeah.
80s pop band.
no,
Wait, is
apparently
that-
it's really popular in Africa, and it's kind of just starting to make its way over to America.
Is that peri peri chicken? Is it
I
chicken?
think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
delicious. They have that all over here. It's like what do you call those sauces that you add to your meal to spice it up? Like a hot sauce, I guess.
Sauce.
Yeah, it just sounds like
Yeah,
sauce.
You know, Tabasco
Yeah, they
sauce
have
and
that all the
such?
way. What's that, Kai?
Like Tabasco sauce and such. Is that what?
Yeah,
you mean?
kinda. It's just like a sauce designed specifically to make something a bit spicier. Give it a kick.
Mm.
How
Yeah,
nasty?
hot
Can,
sauce.
how nasty
I
can the
guess.
world of flavor development and top secret research get? Like, what was some of the like fucked up scandals that maybe you went through or saw in your place of work?
Yeah, did Plankton try to steal your secret formula?
Oh, every day I had to always kick him out. No, there wasn't anything too ridiculous, I wouldn't say. There's a lot of, like I was saying before, like just choosing objectives based on like what you can put on the label versus what's actually good, which was kind of disappointing. It can be, food science can kind of be in the business of like how much can I get away with lying on our label here.
Okay,
Like if I can
so-
claim it's as healthy as possible while also not having it be healthy, that's like the Goldilocks zone, I guess, which is unfortunate.
Well, elaborate a little. Like, what is there that you could put into the sausage that would look shady on the label? What exactly are you talking about here?
Well, one thing I guess would be a lot of ingredients that we would add. We would add for the specific reason of them containing an ingredient that looks bad on the label. Like MSG is a really common one in pretty much any food or meat industry. It's not really dangerous or anything. It's not even unhealthy, but there's kind of a public phobia of it. So we would basically try to hide it in other things. For example, if you ever see
A
like
Trojan
tomato
horse.
powder. Yeah, no, literally, if you ever see tomato powder or yeast extract on a label, it's only in there because it contains MSG. But they don't say MSG on the label because that looks gross.
Wow.
Fuck, man. I'm worried
I
for your
didn't know that.
safety now. Is big business going to come after you now, spilling these
Big
secrets here?
food.
Let's hope not. I think you can look up that kind of thing online already anyway, so I don't think I'm in too much danger.
Hope
Elon
not.
Musk is gonna call you a pedophile.
Yeah, he's going to
Oh,
go
yeah,
on his
okay.
Twitter rant.
My work here is done. She didn't do anything.
I've always thought that's super shady how just like vague those label ingredients are described as being. Like what's the Coke one? Natural flavors or something. That's how they hide their main ingredient.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Mhm.
what the hell is a natural flavor? What are you hiding there, Mr. Coke? Do you know what they're hiding?
What's behind the curtain?
I do not know what they're hiding.
You don't have any
I did
idea?
not work for
Is that
Coca-Cola.
is that like the biggest like industry like secret? I guess I know it's a massive secret, but like in your industry, well, your previous industry, were you always like on the hunt for it, talking about it to your coworkers and such?
What, the Coca-Cola secret formula?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think that ever
I
came.
would be. I'd be like I'd be like a bloodhound. after
We're
that,
somehow
so.
getting closer and closer to SpongeBob with each
Yeah.
question.
I'm liking that. I
Yeah,
really do
what's
appreciate
your
that.
boss? What's your boss like? Is he very crabby?
You know, he totally was, which is hilarious. No, actually, he was the nicest guy. He was not crabby.
That'd be, if I was in that industry, the Coke formula would be my white whale. Not even because I could make
Yeah.
like Coke chips or something, but just for the sake of competition.
Knowing.
Be like, I know it now. How
Yeah,
much are you going to pay me to keep my mouth shut?
it's like the biggest secret in the industry. I want to know.
I know. I feel like
He
it should
did
be
have
so
kind of
simple.
a white whale that was our main competitor, but I probably shouldn't say that on the internet, so I can tell you later.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell us in private so you don't give yourself away to the assassins that Coke's gearing up now.
Okay, so you're basically
Yeah.
the chum bucket of the meat industry.
Right. Would have gotten away with it too. Weren't for the internet. Well,
That's such a fucking cool background, and that's extremely unique. I've never heard of that position
Yeah, same.
before.
Well, I've heard of the position, but I've
Thanks.
never like come across someone, even in like AMAs and shit like that.
Did you have a expected throughput on that? Like, did they go, you need to make at least 4 new flavors by the end of the month or you're fired?
Not,
Like, what
not
was the...
monthly, but we would have to set goals at the beginning of the year, and then we would have to try
Oh,
to meet
wow.
those. And a lot of those were like develop X amount of new products. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, totally.
That's crazy.
That reminds me of a story. The guy who invented, I think it was Flamin' Hot Cheetos, was it? He was a janitor who just took home some like bad batches of Cheetos and then he spiced them up with some Mexican spices and brought
Just
them
threw
in.
chili powder on them. Yeah.
Yeah, is that also kind of common in the industry where an unqualified flavor scientist will take it home and make something out of it?
Do you ever feel angry over that?
Because it's got such prestigious requirements and rigorous training to be a flavor scientist.
Well, no, there's a lot of
It probably
training that goes.
does.
Jesus, just shitting on Patrick right to his
Yeah,
face, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Patrick, I don't mean to call you out, but your job was a sham and you were a fraud.
It's okay.
Andrew doesn't believe in hunk scientists.
I majored in microbiology, and I only had the food science job for less than a year. I kind of fell into it, honestly. It was a great job, though. But
Sounds like it.
honestly, I felt like I was totally underqualified for it. It was very difficult to learn all of the information. My boss was like a total genius, and I could barely keep up with him.
It sounds like you'd need more fields involved, such as the marketing, advertising as well, and even a bit of maybe like FDA requirements and such, just to kind of understand everything. So it seems like
Definitely.
you need to pull a lot of information in there. I can imagine that being
I
pretty
did.
tough.
I had to spend a lot of time reading like USDA, like just their manuals.
So was there anything shady like that going on depending on what region you were making flavors for? Like, yeah, we can't put this on the label in the US, but, you know, the Mexicans, they don't care if you put a little bit of lead in their sausages.
It was usually the other way around. Like you would have to label something more strictly in other countries versus the US was like more lax.
Really?
There was some stuff. For example, one thing is that in Canada, mustard is considered an allergen. I'm pretty sure, whereas in America it's not. So you wouldn't have to label that or like have the may contain kind of nonsense on the label, but in Canada you do. So if we were ever shipping anything to Canada, we would have to label it differently.
So what is
one? Sorry, I kind of wanted to add to that. One big one that I heard with that is I believe it's Heinz ketchup in all of Europe or some really considerable nation can't legally be called ketchup because it doesn't contain enough tomatoes.
Oh, there's so many great examples of that. I love those stories. Oh
Yeah.
man.
I don't know.
I love that kind of shit.
Yeah, it kind of ties into the question I was going to toss at you here, Patrick, in this Thunderdome.
Sure.
I was wondering, like, what's the most like fucking ridiculous one from like the USDA? Like, you can't do this, or just something that makes no sense to like a layman, or maybe in general.
Huh. Dang. I actually don't know off the top of my head. I can't think of anything too crazy.
I'm framing it poorly, but something that would surprise a lot of people.
Well, kind of like what I was saying before, the whole throwing things in just for the purpose of labeling it, or like, I think, what would they call it? Clean labeling was, I think, the term they would use. So like adding something that would look bad, but calling it something else so it doesn't look as bad. I think I don't know. I don't want to say shady. Yeah, actually, what can I even say here? This is hard.
So is it just like adding an adjective to an otherwise bad item, like happy cyanide or something like that, or is it
No,
more subtle?
It would be calling something that's technically true, but also not what someone would look for in order to figure out what was in it, if that makes sense.
So that seems like it could be very, very easily exploited. I'm assuming there's like a certain level, like you can have this amount of maggot shit in your Lay's potato chips that you're flavorizing.
Oh, exactly. There can be like X amount of pus in milk from the cow's udder if you if you think about it.
Also an X amount. I think it's 10% of bug parts in berry
Chocolate.
jams and shit.
Yep, and like chocolate and exactly.
Yeah.
Why are you guys doing this to me?
Yeah, sorry, your world is crashing down around you. All the food you eat, it's disgusting and also delicious.
Why did
It's
they put
fun.
bug parts in it?
They don't put
They
it
can't
in. It's
avoid
just they
it.
can't keep them out. So like it's either sell them with bug parts or don't sell them at all.
How do they
Yeah.
calculate the exact amount of like dead roaches in a bar of chocolate? Do they have like a machine for that? Like, yep, that's a dead bug in there.
I mean, I assume they just take a sample bar here and there, and then they just look for bee parts in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
God, that's
Like,
fucked
listen,
up.
we know you can't keep all the bugs out of your factory, but you at least have to try, you know? Put up some
I
bug
don't want to
nets
eat
here and there.
bugs.
I mean, it's not keeping them out of the factory. It's keeping them out of the fields where it grows because they harvest it at the massive scale.
Yeah, that's
Anywhere,
typically
both.
where it comes.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're melting chocolate or however it's made on an industrial scale, I'm sure plenty of bugs just fly into the batter.
Yeah, that
Which
could
is
be.
extra
Could be just
protein.
that they have like the cocoa bean, right? It might have like parasites that kind of burrow into
Oh,
the bean
man.
itself, and then
Ooh,
Mhm.
I don't know.
I don't like this.
yeah, that's a
Look,
yuck.
it's all just gross and unpredictable, but what's totally predictable is Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is predictable, though, because of its easy, different payment plans. You can get a 2, 5, or 10 gigabyte 4G LTE plan for your cell phone through Mint Mobile, because Mint Mobile is a company designed to stick it to big wireless. So take that AT&T, take that Sprint, take that T-Mobile. So the problem with big wireless, though, is that you have all these administrative fees, these inconsistent pricing options, all this garbage thrown onto your monthly bill. But with Mint Mobile, you can cut it down to $15 a month. You can use your own phone. You can use your own phone, cut it down to $15 a month. You can keep your old phone number as well as your contacts. Every plan that they offer comes with unlimited talk and text. And if you're not 100% satisfied after 7 days, get all your money back. You can get this amazing sell offer. And even then, you don't have to call for it. You can do it on your computer by going to mintmobile.com/official, mintmobile.com/official to cut your wireless bill to $15 a month. mintmobile.com/official. But yeah, back to putting disgusting bugs in all the things we like to eat.
Oh, good. Yes, I was worried we were gonna not be done talking about food science. You guys thought you were gonna be talking about animals today, but no, we're gonna talk about the food you eat.
Well, I've seen plenty of animals, but I've never ever gone behind the scenes of the Krusty Krab.
Well, actually, on the topic of animals, the thing I wanted to ask you about your work is why animals? Because I mean, like, there's a lot of different science topics you could teach about, like, I don't know, other people or places or any of this history. But why'd you choose to go with animals for your format?
I think two reasons. The first being that I just have always really loved animals. Like I've always been extremely interested in biology in general, but animals specifically, and just learning about wildlife. I always watched the documentaries on like Nat Geo and BBC and Discovery Channel as a kid, and I grew up watching those and just thought they were my favorite thing, literally. So I know a fair amount about animals just from watching those. Like I also have a degree in microbiology, but
It's the Nat Geo that helped the most.
I think so. Yeah, it's definitely the walking with dinosaurs and stuff like that that really put me
Ooh,
through
baby.
yeah.
Well, now it's bikers and such, I think.
So that's the first reason, and then the second thing is that animals are like super inoffensive, whereas like there's plenty of other things that I could rate on a tier list that would be like really, really contentious. That like even if I was to rate, I don't know, like operating systems, Mac versus PC, people would get real heated at that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas even if I like insult someone's favorite animal, no one cares, which is great. Like I've called cheetahs like garbage tier. Cheetahs are one of my favorite animals. I love cheetahs, but no one even cares. It's great. So everyone can learn and have fun and be happy, and no one writes me angry emails or anything.
Well, I think you're about to get your first one from Kai over there. He spent the better part of 18 years ejaculating onto a picture of a cheetah.
Nice. Congratulations. I'm sorry that I've destroyed that for you.
It wasn't 18 years, damn it. It was like 1 year when I was 13 or something.
That's 1 year too many either way.
I like how it's your defense.
It is. Wow.
Yeah.
But
It's a solid animal.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, though, so you put it in a way for the gaming, which is always kind of a fun perspective to put on things. Are you a big gamer yourself, or do you just kind of, walk
Know
the
the
walk?
terms.
Or
No,
talk the talk?
definitely a huge gamer. I think that my first exposure to like tier lists and just like thinking critically about games in general was from Super Smash Bros. People love to debate tier lists for Smash, which is really fun. So that's where I kind of got my first exposure to that kind of thing. But I also play a lot of like Overwatch. I played a ton of RuneScape growing up. I haven't played much lately. What else have I played? Like Civilization and
A lot
so
of
just
big boy games.
Yeah, the big stuff. The stuff everyone's heard of.
Of
For the
course.
most part, yeah.
I guess I actually found I actually don't. I'm pretty new to the official podcast and critical and all your channels. I only found the critical channel through. I was looking up the new Jurassic Park game. It was what is it called? Is it Evolution? Jurassic World Evolution.
Yeah, Jurassic World Evolution.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that was the first of your videos that I watched, Charlie. Actually, and I agree with you. It is not the greatest game. I still enjoyed it because I love dinosaurs, but I have to agree. It was
Wow,
What?
Jackson made a friend.
Yeah, Jackson's about to squee on you real hard. He's our resident dinosaur enthusiast.
oh, no kidding. What's your favorite one?
Brachiosaurus. Do you want to come over and play with my
Brachiosaurus?
dinosaurs?
Yes.
I'll show you my Jurassic World Park.
There we go. Excellent.
You guys should set up a play date.
Yeah. What's your what's your favorite?
My favorite dinosaur, I think it would be Deinonychus, which is like a bigger version of Velociraptor. It's basically the one that is in Jurassic Park.
Jurassic
except they call
Park,
it Velociraptor, which, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you turn it into a flavor if you could?
That's a great question. What would dinosaur meat taste like? I would think it tastes like chicken, considering how closely related they are.
Yeah,
But
probably.
You never know.
I think it'd
I'm
be a bit
guessing
more
if you
fatty,
could
though.
mix chicken with crocodile is what I would guess.
Actually, yeah, crocodile pretty much tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
that's
A
true.
lot of meats taste like chicken.
Okay, so you've had
unfortunately.
crocodile. Yeah, I would say it's pretty similar.
That's an interesting topic. What's the most interesting animal or food that we've eaten?
I'm surprised we've never talked about that. That is a pretty
I
interesting
feel like we
question.
should have talked about this at some point.
Probably have. This has been 80-something weeks. I can't remember what we talked about last episode, so...
Well, I don't know. We don't typically go on a topic of food, but now we're joined by like an actual expert on food. So now,
Yeah.
I feel like this might be the first time it's crossed our minds. I can't really think of anything exotic I've had. How about you
I guess-
start us off, Patrick?
Sure.
Fuck you,
I
Jackson.
think
Yeah.
the two things that stick out in my mind. The first one was I ate like a whole octopus one time. That was an interesting experience.
In one sitting?
It was like a small octopus, like probably
But
no
it was
bigger
the
than
entire
like a
octopus?
fish. Yeah, it was. It was the whole thing.
Oh,
Just a
octopus is
small little
delicious,
fried
though.
octopus. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they're so smart. I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, they're really, really intelligent. They have such a weird intelligence too. It's like really decentralized and
Yeah.
they're fascinating.
Yeah,
The
they are.
other food that I thought was really weird that I ate, and it was actually the same occasion, was curdled blood. Not a weird
Oh.
animal. I think it's just cow or maybe pig. But it was like a cheese made out of blood. That was
Ugh.
really strange. One of my friends couldn't do it. He like almost passed out when he saw me eat it. But it was
What the
fine.
hell?
It just tasted like Jello, honestly.
When you bit into it, did it start like bleeding down your face or anything like that, or was it pretty like solid?
Yeah, it was pretty solid at that point. It was well prepared.
Okay.
Mhm.
I didn't look like a vampire or anything.
Oh, that's good then. Before we go off octopuses, though, I fucking love those animals. Do you guys ever see like a well-trained octopus? Because they're really good at remembering faces, and they can even perform tricks if you teach them.
They're incredible.
They're absolutely remarkable.
There was an
Mhm.
octopus at one of the bigger aquariums who all he would do is just yuck it up and be an asshole. Like, he would clog his drain tank on purpose. He would throw rocks at people looking at him and shit. Like, he was just trying to be an asshole to everybody.
I hope they
I love
become
them.
the next like tameable.
Super
Well,
species.
not
I'd
not
love to
super
have a pet
species or
octopus.
tameable. Yeah, but like the next dog, like man's best friend,
Oh.
but of the ocean.
The problem with octopuses are, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick, they live for 3 years tops.
Yeah, they have really short lifespans,
Aw.
unfortunately. So yeah,
Aw.
they can't really do the whole dog thing. By the time you actually train them, it's over for them.
Dead. Imagine if
They're
they
already
live to be
dead.
80 or something, then maybe their intelligence.
They'd probably take over the
grows.
fucking world.
Exactly. They could just imagine how much wisdom they could
Jesus.
gather over the
Yeah.
Yeah.
course of a lifetime if they can get as smart as they do after only a few years.
Well, yeah, Jesus, actually, that's right.
Oh my
They're smarter
God.
than most 3-year-old kids.
Yeah, they'd
What the
start
hell?
building mechs after the first 10.
Have you guys heard of the mimic octopus?
Yes, the
Yeah.
mimic octopus are so incredible.
That's my favorite one. It is amazing.
Dude, those and when I watched Blue Planet, the cuttlefish.
Yeah.
Because what
Right.
impressed me about the
Mhm.
cuttlefish is that the very small males that can't get women on their own, they will pretend to be women and they will scoot in between a regular couple of big male cuttlefish and his girlfriend, and they will fuck the girlfriend.
That's the optimal strategy right there. Nicely done.
No, it's how do they do it? They pretend to be female cuttlefish basically by changing their colors and their texture of their skin slightly. So the big male cuttlefish thinks, "Oh, this is another chick. I'm gonna let him get close to me." But what the big one doesn't realize is that that's just a small dude, and he's fucking his wife.
Wow.
What a strategy in the locker rooms
I
there at
know.
the game
That's
planning.
2 billion IQ cuttlefish right there. Wow.
That's fucking crazy.
My favorite thing that the cuttlefish do with their color change thing is they can like hypnotize fish and crabs
Oh
by
yeah,
like flashing really quick back and forth. I thought that was ridiculous.
dude. I'm
Like
watching that. I'm like, geez, evolution works in mysterious ways. Like, I want to say how fish are dumb, but I'm looking at it. I'm hypnotized. Like that cuttlefish could probably kill and eat me if he did that in front of me.
Right.
It's mesmerizing. It's
God.
impressive. I would clap as he's eating me.
I wish
Well
that
played.
we could just fucking. I wish we were all a little bit Eliza Thornberry and could just fucking make animals talk or
Fucking
figure out how to
ugly.
communicate with them. Well, yeah, drawn in the worst art style possible, but just imagine the shit that we could learn from these fucking animals just in these ways. It's so crazy.
You wouldn't really learn anything
Yeah,
from
it'd
them.
just be fun.
We just make friends, really. Like, that Super Bowl picking octopus from a couple years back, and you'd be like, "So why'd you pick this team?" "Well, fuck you. I'm an Eagles fan." You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of knowledge to be gained from that exchange with him. Maybe he's an asshole.
Yeah, I don't think any animals out there is gonna like reconcile general relativity with quantum physics or anything. But
All right, then
Yeah.
let me rectify it. Then I don't mean learn things from them. I just mean like I'd love to be able to communicate with them directly.
Maybe we'd be able to learn how to love properly.
Exactly. There's some life lessons to be learned for sure.
Yeah, wouldn't you love to just have a life where you have your dog and you look down and you go, how you doing today? And your dog's like, I'm pretty good. How about you? Like I think that'd be amazing.
I feel like animals would be so like passive aggressive. Oh yeah, I'm doing good. I only have 4 fucking legs here with no thumbs. How are you doing, asshole? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, it becomes like a race war.
Yeah, exactly. It would be the next civil rights movement right there. Like,
like BoJack
finally they can
Horseman.
hear us.
Except like BoJack Horseman's not realistic. If we're talking like realism here, you'd have the most upset animals, especially like the ones that get the shaft, like fucking sloths or something.
Yeah.
They'd be so
Sloths,
resentful.
at least they're free. We're talking about like the animals on farms.
Yeah. Oh man, I would hate to talk to those
Sure,
animals.
yeah, I don't think I'd want to have that
That's
conversation.
awkward. They want like 100,000 years of reparations.
I mean, imagine
God.
if somebody, instead of the Holocaust, Jewish women were enslaved and milked for their titty milk.
God,
And then
yeah,
eaten.
Ugh,
I don't want to have
awful.
that conversation.
I don't want to. I don't want to talk to farm animals. God, that's such a disturbing thought. It reminds me of what was it, Animal Farm, where the animals could talk, except it'd be
Yeah.
far darker here.
Well, that was already pretty dark.
Animal Farm by itself is
Yeah.
already a fairly dark concept.
Yeah, but it's kept within the group, whereas here it'd be like a children's child going to the zoo, and the goats berating him for paying for this slavery.
Yeah.
That's an awful dystopia.
Right. No thanks.
So what's the weirdest thing you've eaten, Kaya?
I don't know. I haven't eaten anything exotic, I'm afraid. Like the usual sea animals and such, but probably ants when I was little. I don't know. That's it, I'm afraid. I want to eat everything. I would happily try anything you put in front of me, so long as it was either an animal or a consensual human. Like a consenting
okay.
human, I suppose. So
What a thoughtful cannibal. Thank you, Kaya.
I'm not a cannibal. I'm just
After
saying, like, no. There
after
was the other
signing a
day. There
waiver.
was this article of a dude that everybody shit on, like a guy who had to have his leg amputated, and he decided to cook it up and serve it to his friends. And everybody was just being so disgusted, like, oh, how could they? Dude, if he had to chop it off anyway, might as well give it a try. Why not?
Curiosity, yeah.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah, you're not hurting anybody. He literally did it himself. If he's gonna be the cook of his own leg, yeah, I'm gonna have a bite.
Did he like have to
Absolutely.
amputate his leg, or was it just like he felt
Yeah.
like it? Oh,
No,
so he
no,
had, like
apparently
medically he had to, otherwise he was okay. That makes sense.
I
But
think
wouldn't
so.
it mean
yeah.
the leg's all fucked up? Why would you eat that? It could be like cancer ridden or something.
True. I don't want no abscesses in my steak.
No, I mean, first of all, when you cook it, anything that's in, I assume, is gonna be neutralized anyway. But at the same time, you know how sometimes there's these conditions where, even though the rest of the leg isn't actually affected, even if you get a little artery clogged, you have to get rid of the leg immediately, otherwise all your body is gonna die. Think of like a twisted nutsack. You know how we talked about that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it back up.
I don't know. I forgot the details of it. Point is, if somebody said, "Here's my leg," I'm happy if you'd eat it. You know,
I had
I'm
Patrick
not gonna
prepare
turn
the
it down.
seasoning.
Nice. Yeah, we're having chicken and waffles flavor today, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, I'm with you on that, Kaya. It's just a whole willing to try stuff. Like if the circumstances are right, I wouldn't be opposed to much.
Yeah,
of
I'm
it.
not fucking Hannibal Lecter. I'm not gonna be hunting people or murdering their families. Like, it just, if you give me the opportunity to do it humanely, I'll have a little spoonful.
That's how it always starts, though. You get the taste, then you get the hunger, and then you start
No, it
hunting
isn't.
people.
You're right.
That is
no,
true.
that's totally what happened. That's why we had the cannibal holocaust of 1986. You're right. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
How many examples do you know of somebody being served voluntary
Cows?
human food?
Well,
Well, I don't
not
think
humans.
the
I just meant
first-
in general.
Give me one example, not in general.
I meant like we have a taste of something first, and then it becomes mainstream. I'm saying the taste of human could lead to something that I don't want to be a part of, Kaya.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna have a taste of human, and I will go around knocking on doors, preaching the good word of human flesh.
Jackson, are you
I think
afraid
it's
of a
believable.
literal Soylent Green here? Like, what do you? I don't get what your fear is.
My fear is being eaten by Kaya.
There's not going to be a cultural revolution of let's eat each other.
What a movement that would be, though.
Yeah, famous last words.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys are just trying to convince me.
I think Jackson just wrote the next big amazing apocalypse movie where everyone's trying to kill each other so they can eat each other because everyone tastes that good.
Mm.
Ooh.
It's kind of like a Invader Zim plot when they make themselves into sausages. They slowly
yeah.
transform into a sausage, but they're eating each other along the way.
Right.
Kind of the same premise. It's already been done, Jackson, I'm sorry to say.
It's okay. We're going to live
I
it
think
soon enough.
Jackson's fear is entirely selfish. He knows that we're gonna be in the same room at some point, and he's gonna wake up with me standing over him with a spoon and a fork.
Oh yeah, how selfish of me to be afraid of that.
And
Not even a knife, Kaya? You're going about this the hard way.
Well, I don't want to like bleed him out.
Yeah. You don't want
Just
to air
wanna
out
eat
the 'em. flavors.
That's
Yeah.
true. You want to keep the Jackson meat fresh.
Mhm.
Why don't I just...
So what's the most crazy thing you've eaten, Jackson?
Well, probably crocodile, I'd say. Crocodile's pretty, like, exotic to Australia, isn't it? I don't know. That or kangaroo.
I think so. Yeah, I want to
It'd
eat
definitely
both.
be kangaroo in your case, because that's nowhere here, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, kangaroo then. It doesn't...
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't taste very good, to be honest. I
I've
don't know
heard
if I
it's
just
really
had a bad
tough.
batch. Yeah, it's really tough. Dry.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Isn't I thought the tail was a delicacy.
I've never tried the tail.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't even know you could.
Your turn, Andrew. We're just going from bottom
Well,
to top here.
one thing I would never eat is razor blades. Even though I'm given a nice fresh shipment of them to my door, thanks to Dollar Shave Club. Charlie, you actually know a lot about Dollar Shave Club because we've had them a long time. You want to give it a shot?
Yeah, I'll give it a whirl. Dollar Shave Club, both my dad and I use it now. My dad's become an avid customer. It's a very effective set of blades. They give it to you once a month, and it's very cheap, and you're not going to find better quality in all honesty, and especially for the price you pay. You don't get just razor blades, though. You also get One Wipe Charlies, which just happens to share a name with myself. We don't perform the same tasks. They're for your asshole. I'm not. But they're very effective at wiping ass. You also get Dr. Carver's shaving butter, which is fucking fantastic. Just truly amazing. It's much better than just shaving cream. Don't be a caveman.
And if you want to get all of these amazing things, also including a nice body cleanser, you can go to dollarshaveclub.com/official. That's dollarshaveclub.com/official to get the starter kit, the Daily Essentials starter kit for just $5.
For
You
shipping.
can with free shipping as well. Then you can sign up, get your razors delivered straight to your door. But if you want to take advantage of our offer, try it all out for just $5. dollarshaveclub.com/official. And then going back on topic, the only exotic things I've really eaten are just, I guess, unique forms of sea life. So like I too have also had octopus, just like Patrick. Thought it was really great. I've had turtle before.
Ooh.
Aww.
I
It
haven't
was
had
good.
that one. That one always sounded good.
It was good. It was good. It was like a somehow less flavorful chicken, if that makes any sense.
How is that
Really? I would have
possible?
expected like more flavorful.
Like if you take a bite of chicken and it tastes like chicken, it's like imagine eating meat that tastes less like chicken. That's what it was
Mm.
like.
So pretty
You know
much
that
anything
there
but
used to
chicken.
be tortoises everywhere on the planet, like the giant ones that are still on the Galapagos Islands. Those used to be everywhere,
Mhm.
but humans just ate all of them because they were that good.
Really?
Not even
I didn't
kidding.
know
Yeah,
that.
that's a real thing.
I did not
Huh.
know that.
I didn't know that
They
either.
used to like stack them in the hulls of ships and bring them along on
Wow.
Poor fox.
excursions.
That sucks. Yeah.
Adventures,
Holy
yeah.
shit.
No wonder they have a natural distaste for humans.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
it totally
try-
makes sense.
Yeah, because we have a natural taste for them.
I get a distaste for humans, and the way they combat it is by trying to outlive them. I mean, it's a bold strategy, I guess.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. But I've also had alligator tail. That
Hmm.
was pretty good actually. It may be a little bland. And then I've had frog's legs, which in America is uncommon, but I guess in Europe isn't really that uncommon. Those were good. I don't know. I haven't had anything that amazingly out there. Like, oh, I had monkey brains or any of that shit. But I've tried.
No, okay. How about you, Charlie?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's a pretty
Yeah.
impressive resume of like different foods there.
Hmm.
On the surface, mine's very pussyish. It's shrimp, but not in the way you think. I went to a sushi restaurant and I ordered a sushi roll, and What they served me was a shrimp head on top of a roll, like not like a fried shrimp head, just an actual head of a shrimp on top of like this thing of rice.
What the fuck?
And I ate that. Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't mean to. Like, I thought that was like what you were supposed to do, but looking back on it, I think it was probably just for decoration of the
As a
roll.
garnish.
Did-
Yeah.
were the sushi chefs like laughing at you as you did it? Like, what the fuck is he doing?
They probably mortified, like, Jesus Christ, that savage just ate the shrimp head.
He's our new emperor.
It was made out of glass.
Pretty
Glass bones and
gross.
paper skin.
Yeah, it was fucking gross.
I can't really fault you for that though, because I mean, you technically can eat all of it.
Yeah, but you don't want to. To anyone out there that might make the mistake of ordering like a shrimp head rolled, don't eat the shrimp head. It's really gross because the eyes literally pop like a little pop.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fucking
Little-
disgusting.
little Packets of flavor. It's like Gushers, right?
Yeah, but no flavor. It's just like you hear a pop, and then luckily there's not anything that comes out that's too disgusting or anything.
Okay.
Ugh.
Yeah, so mine was accidental, and it's not even like a cool one either. Because when I say it, it's fucking shrimp. Like that's not cool.
Hmm.
I mean, shrimp eyes is definitely it's pretty out there, I'd say.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I should specify shrimp eyes, but I didn't think of that.
Yeah, lead with that next time.
I was going to ask, what is some shit that you want to put on the tier list? Like, what are some things that you plan on, or maybe some things that down the line you want to get out there?
That's a great question. So I kind of want to cover all of the periods of history. I've done, I think 3 episodes on that now. Not just 2. I did one about the Triassic era, and then I did one about the Carboniferous era. So that's the giant insects and the dinosaurs. I would like to kind of hit all those because there's still like the Ice Age, the Cambrian explosion. There's a bunch of them, and I think those are all pretty good topics. I want to, talk about every life form that I can. Well, at least every animal that I can. There's some topics that I would love to cover, but I don't really know how to make them interesting enough that people would care. Because I was a microbiology major in college, and I love bacteriology specifically. But I don't really know how to make that in the way that it would fit my channel, in the way of like having, like, you can't really show combat for bacteria, right? So there's not exactly like, I can't talk about their fighting styles and techniques and stuff, because really it's like a microscope. You can't really glean. There's a lot you can glean from it, but to someone who doesn't know what they're looking at, it just looks like a blob, right?
Mhm.
So I would love to do something like that, but I'm still kind of working out how.
That's a shame.
What makes those small microbes versatile and like effective at what they do? What are the like categories that you could make?
Well, there's all the different. I don't know how much you know about taxonomy, but there's a lot of different phyla of bacteria. So all of them have like different cell wall structures and different like flagella types and secretion systems. Like there's ones that literally have like syringes on their surface, and they like stab other things with them and inject them with poison. And
Oh, come on, that's awesome! You could do.
I think it's
video about
awesome,
that.
but like I don't even know how to show it, except maybe if I could like hire an animator or something. There's a lot of really amazing stuff, but yeah.
They
Still
sound like
working
little
out how-
death robots.
No, seriously. Oh my gosh, there's another type of secretion system called it's just called the type 4 secretion system because scientists are really boring, but it's literally like a grappling hook. Like it'll shoot towards a little like flagella thing, and it'll stick to something, and it'll like pull itself towards that thing.
Some Indiana
fucking
Jones
awesome,
shit.
yeah.
It totally
Really,
is, yeah.
it's like a
Pretty
fucking
cool.
adventure.
Is there any that taste good that you wish you could have put on the meat? Like, hey, fuck Coca-Cola, let's put some E. coli on this meat.
I don't think E. coli tastes too good, but there's definitely a ton of microbes that are used in the food manufacturing process. Fermented foods make up a pretty big part of the American diet. You know, you got your cheese and your sausage and a bunch of stuff, really.
So you've
Yeah,
never
microbes are pretty
just
important.
pitched like to your boss that you should put tuberculosis in a bag.
Ooh, probably wouldn't fly too well.
Hard
That
sell.
sounds yummy. Salmonella crisps.
Salmonella.
Good.
Shout outs to Salmonella. Great
Good
YouTuber.
old canceros.
Oof.
Ugh.
I was going to
Ooh.
what was I going to say on that topic? That was kind of something I toyed with back in college because a buddy of mine was also a microbiome major, and he was super obsessed with making like the perfect protein French fry. And for some reason, he was convinced that I'd be like a valuable resource to help him in that unachievable quest. So what we ended up doing was researching so much different like heat resistant bacteria until we settled on like the most toxic one that can somehow withstand volcanic temperatures. And his idea was to use that so that way when you fry French fries, it wouldn't lose the protein or something like that. If that makes any sense to you at all, Patrick, was that a
Wow.
feasible idea?
I don't think. Well, I don't think you would destroy necessarily. You wouldn't necessarily lose protein by cooking it anyway. Like eggs are made of protein, and you cook them. It changes the form of the protein, but it doesn't destroy it.
Well, he just debunked you.
Hey,
Yeah.
it wasn't my fucking project. My heart
Sorry,
wasn't in it.
guy.
I don't care.
I guess if he's worried about like burning the protein, then fair enough. But bacteria are mostly like lipids and water anyway, so I don't know if they're necessarily that great a source of protein.
So the whole thing was doomed from the start. I'll make sure to text
I
him
think so.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please tell him that.
I talked to a legitimate microbiologist. Your idea fucking sucked, man.
Yeah, there you go. You can make his day. I'm sure he'll love to hear that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna love to get that one. What do you mean? That stupid idea I had from 5 fucking years ago? You idiot. You still trying that?
I'm a millionaire already.
What's that, Kaya?
I said maybe he's made his $1 million already.
Yeah. He sold his pseudoscience to a big company.
Yeah, the shake weight producers decided to hop all in on it.
Well, if you're looking to shake your weight, you can shake it into your bed. Leesa Mattress, of course. There's never been a more comfortable and more easily available way to get comfy. Leesa will give you a mattress so comfortable you'll want to set off fireworks. And to design a better mattress to do that, Leesa leveraged 30 years of experience and hundreds of hours of testing to develop the perfect mattress for all body shapes and sleeping styles. Like I said, you got that weight to throw around, you can throw it around into your Leesa mattress. Tell them what's going on, Jackson.
Well, basically, you've said everything. Leesa mattresses are just super comfortable, super cheap. They're just great mattresses, and I highly recommend you guys check them out at leesa.com/official. You can get $160 off your Leesa mattress, and you can feel good doing it because Leesa strives to leave the world better than they found it. Together with the Arbor Day Foundation, they plant 1 tree for every mattress they sell, and they're committed to planting 1 million trees by 2025, so go help them out. Snag a good priced mattress and plant those trees. That's leesa.com/official, $160 off.
The question I was going to expand into is, do you ever think about maybe the dark side of the tier listing? Like, would you ever succumb to the temptation of doing like a Fortnite tier list for the pro players, something to really get the kids involved or something?
Yuck.
I think the dark side of the tier list thing is kind of like what I was mentioning before. Like there's definitely controversial topics that I could cover in kind of a lighthearted way, and be like really disrespectful towards the whole thing. Basically, like I get a lot of comments that are really annoying that are like, "Oh, you should do a race tier list or something like that." And I'm like,
Jesus
how about
Christ.
no?
Oh,
How about I never
God.
do that?
Which minority is the most powerful?
Wow.
Exactly. Like that. Just the worst ideas that you could think of to do a tier list for. Like, how to lose your YouTuber career in one easy step. Talk about race on the internet. Like, no thanks. I'm good.
Well, I mean, you don't have to do a whole video for it. Just right now, give us your quick rundown of the race tier list.
God, yeah.
Go
Say it
ahead.
loud and clear. No.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing a YouTuber's tier list?
Ooh,
I
that's
think,
still the
I
dark
think that
side.
could be like a really fun April Fool's episode or something. A YouTube tier list. Honestly, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of material there to work with that could be really fun. I'm not opposed to that. I wouldn't want to do just one about video games because then it's like you're not even a parody of that kind of thing anymore. Then you're just actually doing it. So
Yeah, that makes sense. So you do want to kind of move away from, well, not move away, but like kind of expand upon just doing animal lists?
Well, he does more than animal lists already.
Like what?
Well, like he said, he was doing the Jurassic era. He talked about like some big history shit as well. And then he did what?
Jurassic creatures are still animals.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
guess.
true enough. If you mean like expand away from animals, I don't think necessarily that I want to do that. Like I was saying, maybe for an April Fool's episode, I could do a YouTuber tier list. But for like my core stuff, I do want to stay at least like within the realm of education and biology.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe I could do, I don't know, botany or something that wouldn't be like very animalistic, but it would still be within the realm of biology, in my opinion. So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't really know how
Makes
far
sense.
away I want to stray from that. Like someone was like, you could do like planet tier lists, like talk about what is Pluto top tier or something, and I'm like, that's not a terrible idea. It could work if I do it the right
All
way
right.
and do my
All right.
research.
We'll spoil it for us. Which planet would be at the top of that list?
Well, Earth for free, of course. I mean,
Oh,
there's really
fuck me. I didn't even think of
Did you
Earth.
have did you have one that you were hoping for?
I was
You
thinking
have a
maybe
favorite?
Saturn. Saturn's pretty cool.
Oh, Saturn's definitely got the aesthetics game on max for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not
rings.
Mars. He's red.
No, Mars is fucking. Oh God, no! Don't even get
Mars
me
is-
started on Mercury.
Jupiter is the fucking alpha, though, man. That guy's
Yeah.
huge. You don't want to fuck with Jupiter. I feel
Too
like
much
he'd
gas.
be towards the top.
Yeah.
He'd definitely be towards the top.
Yeah,
I
I'll
feel
give
like
you that.
Plu-
That's a fair point.
I feel like Pluto is the incel school shooter in waiting. Just ready to
man.
come back at some point. He's gonna change orbit and crash into Earth.
Now that's a
Get
that's a good
revenge.
question. The debate on if Pluto's a planet or not, whatever, that's a whole thing. Does Pluto belong on the tier list?
That would be a
Ooh.
really like if I left Pluto off of the tier list, that would be a really interesting comment section for sure.
Oh yeah.
Do you think people are more passionate about leaving it on the list than there are people passionate about putting it off?
I think if I were to put it on the list, I would kind of have to do an aside that's like, hey, like I know it's up for debate, even though it's not really even up for debate whether or not it's a
Yeah,
planet or
no.
not. But I would kind of have to make some sort of comment like, hey, I know it's controversial, and then I would probably get less comments.
You'd probably do it in your style, I'm guessing, where you're like, this was left out in patch 1.6, but re-added in 1.7
That's
or however.
true. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
be like, aha.
Yeah,
they
you can
were
make it part of the
removed.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right.
No
Andrew,
problem.
quickly.
I'll keep
Glad
that in
I
mind.
helped.
No, copyright it.
Oh yeah, so first nachos for Notch, and now this concept. Oh, don't worry. Every guest we have on, I'll just lend them the bone. I'll throw them something.
There you go. You can start a YouTube channel and do it. It'll work.
Tier planet.
Exactly, sir. Tier astronomy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start my own channel because I don't have one.
You ever said you couldn't do two?
No, I'm kidding. No, I
So
actually
passive
thought,
aggressive today.
I've actually thought maybe for a while doing some stupid series that actually has running themes and concepts. I don't know. It looks like what you do is just a lot of fun because once you have a good idea, there's usually a lot you can say with it.
Yeah, it's really fun when I finally get like the first good, like, ooh, this would make for a good video. And then I just actually do the research and find all the stuff relevant to it and all the stuff I can kind of segue into. That is a lot of fun. Makes me feel like Vsauce.
So
the whole
what's
production? You actually know what? You go ahead, Jackson.
I was just going to ask, what's the most overpowered animal currently living in the current patch?
I would say the human, obviously, really busted intelligence strats. Like,
Motherfucker.
like their building abilities and crafting tools. They can just boost all their stats up to max, which isn't really fair. So that would be my number one. I think number two would probably be the orca, because they're just the worst. They're the meanest things on the planet. They just like torture other.
They've got a high aggression stat.
Exactly. They just they're trolling everyone else and like just so BM basically.
My question was just going to be: is the whole thing a one-man production? Do you do all the editing, all the visuals, everything?
I do all the everything is just me. I don't have a team yet.
Nice.
I think I was talking about if I were to do like a microbiology stuff, I'd probably need an animator. So I might need to start looking for one of those. But yeah, as for right now, it's just me.
Well, that's a lot of work, man. Respect that. Good shit.
Thanks. Takes me about 2 weeks per episode.
So, Patrick, this is one I often ask guests who have kind of a series or running theme going. What are some episodes or content that didn't make the cut?
Recently, I was trying to do one about the Ice Age, and like what caused the decline of so many different species, and I thought it could be like for a really interesting episode. But really, everything is the human's fault. So it would kind of be, I'd just be repeating myself over and over, like, oh, why are the mammoths gone? Oh, because people killed them. Oh, why are the saber-tooths gone? Oh, because the people killed them. Oh, why is, yeah. So,
You just sound like a hippie.
yeah, I guess. And there wasn't like any revelation that I could talk about. I would have just been repeating myself. So I decided to just, what I did instead was just talk about humans. That was our humans OP video. That was that development period, which ended up being my most popular video of all time. So I guess I'm glad I changed the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah.
you never know. What if the Ice Age could have been even bigger?
It could have, and I mean, it's still a valid topic that I can do if I can find another way to portray it where it's not just, hey, did you know that humans killed other creatures? Fun fact for you. Bet you didn't know that one. So I try to do stuff that people might not know about. Like usually at the top of my tier lists, I'll have an animal that maybe not everyone knows about. Like for my one about birds of prey, I had the secretary bird, which I actually didn't even know existed until recently.
Yeah, what is that? Secretary?
Yeah, it's named that because I've heard a few different reasons as to why it's named the secretary bird. One is that it has like the feathers kind of stick out the back of its head, like almost like a secretary having like a pen behind their ear. But I've also heard that it's like I think like Sagittarius, like kind of a permutation of that word, which I think means archer. I could be totally wrong. That might not be correct at all.
Oh, Christ.
Like archer
They
bird.
they have extremely long legs. These look cool.
Right. Yeah, they're fascinating creatures. They just like kick things to death. They're really good at killing snakes because snakes can't really bite at those really skinny long legs. So they hunt snakes and kick them to death. I think they're really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. So they're a bird of prey. So can you train them?
I don't know. I would be surprised if there were any like really well trained ones. Like yeah, there's falconry for other birds of prey, but that kind of involves like throwing things and having them go catch it and special. I don't know that much about falconry actually. I'm not going to pretend I do. It'd be a lot more difficult with a secretary bird since they can fly, so maybe not. I was going to say that they're not that similar to flying things, but they totally can.
Watching a secretary, I highly encourage anyone to watch a secretary bird hunt a snake. It looks like me when I see a cockroach.
Oh, I love them.
Oh, it's fucking goofy. It's just like stomping around like it's doing one of those old Irish river dances.
Honestly, I think it's the closest thing in modern day to like a velociraptor type organism.
Yeah, I could see that.
It looks like afraid of it.
Well, I would be too. I wouldn't get that. It doesn't look afraid. It just looks calculated. It's a killer.
It's using its spacing to its advantage. You know, bobbing in and out and using its range optimally.
They're so fucking elegant, man.
Are we watching the same video? Because this one, it looks like the secretary bird's father is forcing it to stomp on the snake, but it's very hesitant to do it.
That poor snake.
Yeah.
Oh my god! It's just getting demolished. Kicked straight in the head.
It's such a goofy form of attack. That's fucking amazing. I'd never heard of this bird.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Are there any other obscure, like, interesting creatures like this that you can think of off the top of your head?
Sure. How about the velvet worm?
Velvet worm. I think I've heard of
Onychophora. Have you heard of it?
I think so.
No.
It's really interesting because it can shoot like sticky goo out of its front, and it uses that to like capture its prey. It's one of the few like projectile using creatures on the planet.
Wow.
Isn't that where it like looks like it ejaculates and then it sucks it back in?
Does it suck it back in? I didn't know that.
There's some worm. Maybe it is a sea cucumber. It's some like dick-looking creature where it either feels or moves around by shooting out this like giant semen-looking web and then pulling it back in to its body. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I've seen what you're talking about, actually. Yeah, I do remember seeing something like that. Maybe that is that. I don't know. I feel like that's not the Onychophora, though.
I'm watching it right now. It looks like Spider-Man. Right. I think this is actually it, Andrew. It does literally look like he's cum-shotting his prey.
Yeah. and then he pulls it back in.
Yep,
and
he
like
is pulling it.
Oh, does he
He's
pull it
pulling it
back
back
in?
in.
Okay.
He's pulling
like
it back
when
in
it comes
right
out,
now.
it looks like veins, like webs. Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah, and then it started like reeling it back in.
yeah. I
Like he
remember
wanted his
seeing that
essence
thing.
back. Yep.
He's got to save
Maybe
it for next time.
Yeah, well,
Speaking
maybe
of,
maybe this guy might just be like an anomaly, like a fucking vigilante superhero out of Velvet Worms. Like he invented the pullback after coming.
Well, speaking of advanced ejaculation techniques, Patrick, we asked this to literally every guest that we've ever had for the most part. Do you have any interesting masturbatory tales to share with us?
If you want to talk about that, here's my honest to God opinion on the subject. So it doesn't seem like an optimal strategy, honestly. It kind of seems like an exploit of emergent gameplay, since it's abusing the mechanics of the game that are meant to incentivize mating. Like mating is like one of the core concepts of outside, in my opinion, and it's the only source of extra lives that I'm aware of. And just doing that for the sole purpose of the morale boost, when it's really what it's meant for is to ensure that the game stays healthy. It just seems kind of like dishonest gameplay, really. Skipping like the courtship minigame, which is allegedly one of the toughest, most skill testing sections of the game. You skip that and you still receive the temporary morale boost, which I kind of see as against the spirit of the game. But in the
Alright,
end,
so
it
how
doesn't.
much do you jerk off?
Well, I don't know. In the end, it doesn't grant you any extra lives, but the actual act of mating does. So I don't really see the point. You're just
I
like
don't
reaping
want
the rewards
kids.
and doing nothing. So okay, then that's fair. But
You had
to me,
this
it's like
prepared,
skipping to the
didn't you?
last. I do. I'm reading off of a script right now. Exactly.
I was gonna say you definitely had that prepared.
But I've been told that there's also like negative effects too. Like some players have told me that it decreases your prayer level, which is huge considering like I don't know if you want to use like protect from melee, that's a problem. Or like some people have been like, oh, it can give you a blindness debuff, which that's huge. Or like it could. One actually buff that I've heard is that it can increase your grab potential because of like the hair growing on your hands. So
How many like cliff notes, like if
Yeah.
this is said, this is my response, do you have on that set sheet there? That was impressive. That was good.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
That was super fucking good. My questions just keep relating back to the flavor stuff, to be honest with you, man. I know I've moved on from it, but I just find that so incredibly interesting.
It is really fascinating.
What are some techniques they use to circumvent some of the more strict ones? You said they use like tomato extract, I think it was, yeah?
Yeah.
To hide the MSG. What are some other ones that they kind of sleazily get away with?
The most mind-blowing one that I can think of that requires, like, when my boss told me this, I was like, holy cow, you're a genius. I would have never thought of this. But the bacteria that you're going to use in your fermentation process to produce the product that we were making, they thrive on ionic metals. They need those to produce the acid that we need for the fermentation process. But you can't just add in metal to your food. That's illegal. You can't throw in extra. You can't do that. But my boss is like, oh, you know what? If you add in a lot of black pepper, that has magnesium in it, and that would be enough to kickstart the fermentation process. And I was like, that is ridiculously fascinating. So shout outs to my boss. I hope he never watches this, but if he does, that was some 2000 IQ stuff right there.
Yeah, wow.
That is fucking crazy.
Really? This is just fascinating.
Now, do you think all the rules and such, the specifications, are fair? Do you think maybe they're a bit overboard, or are they not strict enough? What is your personal opinion on the regulations in place?
Well, I think a lot of them are driven by public opinion, which may or may not be correct. Like it's probably not a problem at all if something has MSG in it. Like there's very few people on the planet that actually have any sort of sensitivity to it, but there's a lot more people who think that it's bad and can make you sick just because of some papers that have been published that may or may not have been kind of disingenuous. But there's also plenty of things that it's probably good that the public opinion kind of cares about. Certain, I don't know how in depth I can go on additives, but yeah, I guess keeping a simpler label does make sense from a consumer consumer standpoint because it kind of limits the amount of extra nonsense that they can sneak in. Which I'm glad. It does seem like that's kind of the way the market is going, is that people are caring less what is in your food and more just how many different things are in your food. They like it when a label just says like meat, water, salt, that's it. Which makes sense. It definitely makes the food scientist's job a lot harder, but it may be for the best, maybe not. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It makes sense to me, yeah.
Okay.
I actually have I just thought of I think it's another good question that's related to both things that you're into. What animal out there would you want to eat if given the chance?
Wow. I really hope at some point that eating insects becomes like a mainstream thing. Because
Really?
there's a ton of protein in insects that is kind of just not used at all, even though they're really healthy and really, really easy to like produce and take care of. Like you can literally feed a cricket garbage and it'll create more crickets, and which can be treated as protein. I've never tried one. It does, even though like I know how good it could be for multiple different reasons, it's still kind of weird to me. But I would like to try it at some point. I know there's like some companies out there that do cricket bars and grasshopper stuff like that.
That's a new up and coming thing where a lot of health food things will make like cricket protein bars and this and that and sell them out.
Exactly.
I should Charlie, the rock climbing gym that we go to sells them.
Do they really? Where?
Yeah.
Is it on like their shame wall of bad chocolate bars?
Yeah, it is actually.
Is it? Oh.
They have chocolate bars at the gym?
Yeah, they have like it's Cliff Bars, but I fucking hate Cliff Bars, man.
Yeah, but yeah, we should get some next time we're there. They have cricket bars. I'd try one.
I give it a whirl. Yeah.
Have
After
you
like a hard climb sesh?
Have you ever tried or heard of witchetty grubs? They're a native Australian cuisine.
I think I've heard of them, but I've never tried any. I've never been to Australia.
Yeah, they're like these worms the size of, they're like super thick. They're like the size of your hand basically.
Whoa.
Just pure white, and they're really gross.
What do they
But they've got a lot of protein and
metamorphosize
stuff.
into? When they, like, grow up?
Just some kind of moth. I don't know if there's a specific. Well, I think it might be several moths. I think it's just a general term, witchetty grub, maybe.
Okay.
But they definitely turn into a moth eventually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys should look it up because these are pretty big worms. They're pretty thick and they got lots of protein.
Witchetty, is that the name for it?
Yeah, witchetty.
One more, you just brought up something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Thank you, Jackson. Have you guys been keeping up with the cockroach super science or whatever the fuck's going on with cockroaches?
They're not making them bigger, are they?
No. Not in the way you think. So over the last like year or so, I've been reading off and on stories about how cockroaches are the next major superfood. Like a protein so potent, it'd make whey protein obsolete. It'd make casein protein obsolete. It'd just be so much better in every possible regard.
Would you do it? Would you eat it if it gave you massive gains?
Yes.
I'd seriously consider it.
That's a Chris Evans movie, silly.
What? Captain America?
Chris Evans movie? What?
Yeah, Snowpiercer.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that is the food.
Yeah. That's a good movie.
That is a shitty movie, but
I like it.
It's real now though. Like they made like this cockroach bread, and I can't remember all the specifications about it, but it's like the healthiest bread that's ever been made, and it's supposedly tastes really good. I don't trust that
That's
at
a
all.
very low bar because all bread is kind of shit.
Really? I'm a big bread guy.
Yeah, I like
In
bread.
America, all bread just tastes like cake, which is great. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice and sweet.
Mhm.
Cockroach
terrible for us.
flour is what you're looking at, Charlie.
Cockroach flour.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
It has 40% more protein than normal flour.
God, this is so gross though.
Yum
Cockroaches
yum
are so
flour,
gross.
the nutritious ingredient in any meal, which is literally just devoid of any nutrients.
How much protein is in regular flour, though? Like 40% more flour or more protein might be like nothing, depending on how much. I should look that up.
Exactly.
Like that.
Well-
That to me sounds like the fake marketing that I used to hear all the time.
Yeah.
Honestly,
mean-
Patrick, if you can debunk this in any way, I'd be more than happy to hear that because I am fearing
have to
for a
do my
future where I'm
research.
eating
I would-
cockroaches.
I would love to debunk this. I'll have to do some research. But
I don't
no
want that to
idea.
be the future. I don't
Yeah,
want to eat
I mean,
cockroaches.
I'm on the argument, and I'm guessing some of you will get with it, where it's, I like sausage. I don't want to see how it's made. If you feed me a sandwich and it tastes good, and I can't tell that it's disgusting, then I'll fucking eat it. I don't care.
I
what it's made
already
out of.
have like a hatred for cockroaches, and I know Charlie does as
Same.
well. Just knowing that
Mhm.
it includes cockroaches in any form
I
would
don't
be
mind
enough to
that.
just turn my appetite.
I don't mind the cockroach as much as the bread, actually.
It's not just bread.
Ew, bread.
It's- the main thing that I was reading about is the cockroach milk as a protein source.
Okay.
yeah,
Now you've lost me. No, I'm
Do they
good.
Yeah.
milk the cockroach or do they grind it into the milk?
I didn't get that far into the article before I just started fearing for the Lord's return because it's so disgusting
Yes,
reading
please
about
come,
that.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah, it's fucking gross, but cockroach milk is the big one that's like, this is some huge shit.
It's milk from a specific cockroach, so they milk it. Fantastic.
How do
Wow.
you milk a
That's
cockroach?
incredible.
I don't know, I guess they have nipples somewhere down there. I'd hate to be that guy on that job with like little tiny tweezers milking a cockroach udder.
It says
Can you
it's
imagine
more
like
than
the boardroom meeting of like the first guy to be like, guys, check this out. I have the newest thing. Let me tell you. He pulls out
What
a
if he-
cockroach
what-
and starts milking it. Like what? How do you do that?
How crazy
Why do
would
they
it be?
even need milk? They don't.
Like,
I thought only mammals had milk.
I don't
Exactly.
know. Maybe it's not. I
I'm
don't
sure
think it's
what they
actual
call
milk.
milk is just some
Yeah.
pus-filled bladder in
Yeah.
the cockroach. This
Mhm.
article says it's more than 4 times as nutritious as cow's milk.
Yeah, it's something significant.
Hmm.
I imagine that it was probably one of your old co-workers that pitched this one to him, Patrick.
Yeah,
Although
it's
most
gotta be it.
cockroaches don't actually produce milk, Diploptera punctata, which is the only known cockroach to give birth to live young, has been shown to pump out a type of milk, in quotes, containing protein crystals to feed its babies.
Wow.
Yummy,
Yum.
yummy.
That's fascinating.
That's man, I don't even want to imagine a world where instead of having like normal cheese and butter, it's cockroach cheese, cockroach butter, and ooh.
Well,
think
how do you think you could get used to it? Like, what if someone came up to you tomorrow and said, "Hey, man, you know those broad beans you eat all the time? It turns out they're 100% cockroach." Would you
I'd
really
never eat them
be-
again. I wouldn't like be voiding my bowels and like puking in my toilet, but I wouldn't eat them again. I really
See,
wouldn't.
At the same time, I'd feel less guilty about drinking milk then because it's not coming from like these giant cow farms. I wouldn't care if
Okay,
it was a
so-
cockroach farm.
The scientists are way ahead of us. Apparently, according to them as well, it would be very inconvenient to milk cockroaches. So they're trying to
Don't
look.
say.
What they're
don't have
basically trying to
nipples.
do is see how that milk is produced, so to see if they can synthesize it in the lab and basically produce artificially a milk that is better than cow's
if you
milk.
could make it so if you could like transpose those genes into like a bacteria or something, just like they did with insulin for diabetes treatment, that could work.
Mm.
Mhm.
See, but I'd still know that its origin point was a cockroach, and then I'd be grossed out. Even if it was like completely synthesized in a lab, it's like the formula is from a cockroach, and I don't want to fuck with that.
I'm surprised that you'd care more about the cockroach than the lab part. Like I would think a lot of people would be like, "Ooh, it's from a lab. I don't. It's too sciencey."
Oh, dude,
It
fuck
has-
those people. I
Oh,
get so
yeah,
mad when
no,
I go
fuck
on like
them.
Twitter and
Yeah,
shit,
no, I
and,
don't care
and
about
I
labs.
see those tweets about artificial meat, the new meat that they're trying to finally grow in the lab, and it's just so
Right.
many
I can't wait for
comments
that.
of,
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd never eat something that was produced by man instead of the Lord.
the
Fuck you.
That's one of my biggest fucking gripes with humanity. I hate those people more than fucking anything. They're the ones who don't drink water because they're like, it's dihydrogen monoxide. It's bad for you. I cannot fucking stand those people. It's all made of chemicals. Everything on Earth is chemicals, you fuck.
Exactly. Yeah.
I hate
in
those
the food
people.
science industry. Like that was a huge problem. Like the whole "I don't eat what I can't pronounce" was like one of the biggest
Oh,
hang-ups
suck my
for-
cock.
There's a
for
merit
designing.
to the idea
Gotta work
that
within
you
two
want
syllables.
something organic and natural, like free-range beef is obviously going to be better for you than some shitty chicken with hormones pumped into it in some little
Ugh.
pen.
Even if
But
it's
I-
better for you, a lot of times it's way worse for the environment, which is terrible.
That's, I mean, I just don't like it being dismissed outright on principle. Like, I would never eat lab-grown meat, even if it was 100% the equivalent of real meat.
Right.
No, man, come on.
It's more sustainable.
The future for that is the sky's the limit, and I can't wait because lab-grown meat has so much potential. It could be significantly better than like authentic meat because you can literally engineer it to be as flavorful, whatever flavor, however you want it to be. It's so refreshing to think
Plus,
about.
it's more
Exactly.
sustainable.
Yeah,
And
like,
more
just think of
sustainable.
all the space. Like, I think it's what 25% of like the land in America is just for farms. Think of what could we do with all that space? Such a waste. If we could have
Cockroach
lab-grown meat,
farms.
that's so much.
Turn into a giant cockroach ranch.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Efficiency optimized.
25% of the land in America but now belongs to the cockroaches. We gave it back.
Thank goodness.
Alright, well, we've been going for about
Yeah,
an
we
hour
can
and a
wrap
half
up.
here, Patrick. So we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up. Feel free to shout out anything you want to talk about, man.
Oh, I mean, thanks for having me. I don't have anything else I was hoping to bring up. I don't know. I went into this without much.
We
Sorry,
mean
go
shout out your channel.
Oh, my channel. Okay. I mean, youtube.com/TierZoo.
Mhm.
I don't know. I recently got merch. If anyone wants to check out merch, I got a t-shirt now. I've
There
never
we go.
actually talked about that in the video, so not many
bang.
people know about that. But yeah, I got a shirt, I got a little pin, enamel pin. I even have a coffee mug now too.
Oh,
They're all
Ooh, you really
Whereabouts-
hit that.
Wow.
Yeah, hit that merch game hard.
There you go.
where's that found? Do you have like a?
Oh yeah, it is if you go to standard.tv/TierZoo.
Okay.
Standard
Sweet.
is the agency I work with.
Awesome. Go check it. Go check that stuff out.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
thanks again for
Yeah.
coming on, Patrick. Really appreciate it, man.
Totally. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Send us out, Jackson.
All right. Thank you everyone for watching this week's episode of the official podcast. Big thank you to Patrick for appearing and guesting. Thank you. Go to patreon.com/theofficialpodcast if you want to throw a few bucks our way. Helps us out. Andrew, you got something to say?
If you're listening to this on a mobile platform like Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can get podcasts, you don't need to do a goddamn thing. But if you're listening to it on YouTube, please, if you want to support us, switch over to one of those audio podcast platforms. It helps us out a lot, and it might be easier for you. We don't know your schedule. Who cares? Just do it. Thanks.
If you want. Thank you.
If you want.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.